Day, Amy? Anna Tiang.
Hello, Sister Rosalind.
Hi, good evening. Good evening to everyone.
Good evening. Welcome.
Yes. Dr. Derek.
That was pushed back, and now there won't be one.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Peace, blessings, and a lot of love to all our queens and all our kings in the house. Really appreciate. All right. At this time, we are going to once again commence our deep dive, globally changing lives. Really appreciate all of you joining us this wonderful Thursday with Deep Dive Globally Changing Lives here on the webinar and, of course, live on YouTube. And so, without any further ado, we are going to, of course, commence with In It to Win It, Loretta Shadari, international recording artist, and most definitely the one who gifted this program to us, or this music to us. And so, therefore, without any further ado, we are going to give it just for you, In It to Win It, with Queen Lerato Shadari. next up is on passive.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
All right, wonderful. Okay. Not sure why I not see myself now. All right. I hope everyone is seeing me because I don't know why I'm not seeing myself. But anyway, all
We're
right.
seeing you.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know what I did. But all right, wonderful. That's good to know. Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. Really appreciate. And our first speaker that we will be having, most definitely, that would be our mindset. The mindset is very important, as we said more than once, that 10% actually of the, no, sorry, 20% actually of the mindset is when it comes on to the physical, which means the money, right? But 80%, 80% is the mental, because without the mental, you are not able to get the physical. And even if you get the physical by some persons that maybe play a lotto, never take much mental capacity to play a lotto or to gamble, and they win the lotto, right? You need the mental also now in order to ensure that you put the energy of that money where it is needed instead of just spending because you got some millions and so you just spend and no income. At some point it is going to finish, and that is what happened to at least 90% of persons that actually win the lotto. And they don't have anything to show within 3 years. Yes, within 3 years, 90%. The physical just gone because the mental capacity was not in alignment to deal with that money. And so it is very important that we deal with the mental capacity more than anything else in order to be successful. And so we are going to get into our mindset for Thursday, which is the danger of eating non-seeded fruits. Because without proper health, I tell you, you are doomed to fail. And so our international speaker and entrepreneur, long before On Passive came along, talk show host, and a grandmother of 9 children. All right. And so at this time, we are going to move right over into the mindset with none other than Queen Jacqueline One, looking very smithy and pretty and beautiful and look
Thank
almost like us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Derek. Appreciate that introduction. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all, wherever you may be. And thank you so much, Dr. Derek, for this amazing platform. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to educate and bring, knowledge to this platform regarding our health. I thank you for the brand ambassadors / affiliates for always showing up and your support. thank Ash Mafara for sharing his dream with us, and thank our Heavenly Father for making it all possible. And yes, my name is Jacqueline Warner, and we will be talking about why we shouldn't eat seedless fruits and vegetables. And I think it's been going on for quite some time. I think for the past 20 years that this transformation has taken place, where people are feel comfortable not eating fruits or vegetables without seed. And I don't know how it came about. I guess it started because of convenience. Make it easier. You don't have to take the seeds out of your fruit. You can have the fruit without the seed. But it's everything in our lives, from the beginning of creation, everything was designed to start with a seed, and that started from our Heavenly Father. It all started with him. It started with a seed. Human life begins with the union of a seed, the sperm and the egg. So when people I love no fruits with no, without seeds in it. And I'll be like, but you are a seed yourself. That's where reproduction, that's where multiplication comes in, multiplying, increasing the human race, increasing the fruits on earth, so it will be enough for everyone. And plant life begins with a seed. So carrying within it the full blueprint for the next generation. So if we wipe out the seed, go along with the program with eating fruits without seeds, we're depleting our own cells. We're depleting our plant life itself, because we don't know how these fruits without seeds are being produced. We haven't been to the factory or the plantation where these things are taking place. So we actually don't know, and we just risking our own health by going along and eating these fruits without seeds. Every time I walk into the supermarket, I have a problem because I'm looking for grapes and you can't find grapes. Everything is seedless, seedless, seedless. And even when I go to some of the farmers market, I see the watermelon, and the first question I ask, does it have seed in it? And they say, no, it's seedless. Okay. So for me, everything needs to have a seed, because if I have something with a seed, when I finish eat it, I could drop it in the earth and I could grow it for myself in a more healthier fashion. Seeds are more than small particles, inside of fruits. They are symbols of life, a continuation, and regeneration. So the question is, what happens when that natural cycle is removed? What happens? We take things of great importance. We take it like it's nothing. We take it for granted. Okay. You might say, well, I have little kids. We might use that excuse. We was eating things with seeds from little children. Either I used to bite the grape so my children take out the seed and give them the flesh. And you teach them how to do it, and they can do it. I eat my grapes with seeds, so my grandchildren, when they see me eating my grapes, I just say, look out for the seed. Don't eat the seed, don't swallow the seed. Okay. So the origin of seedless foods, seedless fruits and vegetables did not appear by nature's design. It wasn't designed by our Heavenly Father. This is something of man. And everything they do at times, even if they started with good intentions, ends up bad. And we can see it all around us in every aspect. So they were created by human manipulation. These things was manipulated, just like sometimes you see the flowers, you see purple and green, and some of these flowers don't even come in those colors, but they were manipulated. The roast potato, they put they They put them together to see what the outcome will be. You know, they've been manipulating the fruits and the plants. They've been doing all sort of things. It's almost like Frankenstein in his little chamber. So we have to be knowledgeable and make wise decisions when it comes to buying our fruits and eating our fruits. And they've done so through hybrid. Dr. CB talk about it, through hybridization. Hybridization is a genetic modification or a hormonal treatment. These fruits are sprayed with so much chemicals because what happened, because they're not real, the bugs and the pests start to attack them. And so they have to be sprayed with so much chemicals to protect them so they can be ready for market or for harvest. Okay, so the goal was convenience, easier to eat, longer shelf life, greater profit. But the trade-off, seedless fruits are sterile plants, incapable of reproducing themselves. Simple as that. And you don't have to go to school to figure that out. You don't have to attend college. You don't need a degree to see that. That's just common sense. So when we eat seedless produce, we consume something that has been cut off from the cycle of life. It's not natural, it's not real. But yet we consume it out of convenience. And I always say convenience is good and bad in convenience. Like God said, good and bad is in everything. And that's what we have to always keep in mind, that everything is not good and everything is not bad. But we have to take the good and leave the bad. But yet we find it very hard because we want ATM lifestyle. We want everything quick. We even want to get rich quick. But you see, that don't work. Your 9 to 5 definitely don't get you rich. But everything else you want fast, and it doesn't work that way. Why the seed matters. We need to know why the seed matters. The seed contains vital nutrients, enzymes, and the plant's genetic code. You can't get that from a seedless grape or a seedless fruit or a seedless vegetable. You can't. It's not the same. There's no way. A seeded fruit or vegetable is whole. It completes its natural cycle. But when you do these hybrid fruits and vegetables, they're not going through a normal cycle. And plus, they're chemically preserved for profit and for shelf life. You want your natural fruit to spoil. Because if it doesn't spoil, then it's not natural. It's supposed to break down, go back to the earth that it came from. Okay, so seeds are the carriers of potential, ensuring life continues. Okay, so without seed, the food loses part of its natural integrity. Even food has integrity. Okay, number 3, the life cycle connection. Humans are born of a seed. Plants are born of seed. And without seeds, reproduction ends. So eating seedless foods means consuming something that cannot give life. And if it cannot give life, it's no use to our immune system, to our bodies, to our organs. It's useless. So we're spending our hard-earned money for a convenience that doesn't even support us or even is healthy for us. It's causing havoc. So if it cannot reproduce itself, can it truly give life to us? No, it can't. What are the dangers of seedless fruits and vegetables? You get lower nutrition, often stripped of minerals and life energy. Genetic manipulation, it introduces unnatural DNA into the body. Digestive strain, it alters fibers and sugars, it disrupts gut balance. Chemical residues from hormones or sprays used to suppress the seeds. It weakens our immunity. Long-term consumption may dull the body's defenses. And loss of natural balance. We disconnect from nature's original design. Okay, and what's the bigger consequences? Farmers become dependent on lab-made seeds. The biodiversity shrinks. Fewer natural seeds lines survive. Society accepts artificial as normal, losing touch with creation. This is more than food. It's about preserving life's design. And in my conclusion, life begins with a seed. Seedless fruits and vegetables are incomplete. They're sterile and disconnected from nature's order. Seeded foods carry vitality. Seeded foods carry vitality, it carry wholeness and regeneration. To nourish our bodies fully, we must choose foods as God and nature intended, whole and seeded. I thank you for your undivided attention, and I hope this information brings some awareness and help us to make better decisions when it comes to eating unseeded fruits and vegetables, and that we know that life continues with seeded, not with seedless. Okay, so thank you so much and have enjoyed the rest of the webinar. Back to you, Dr. Derek.
Mercy. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner.
You're welcome, sir.
Nice, nice. Got to have the seed. I don't know. I honestly don't know why any woman would want to have something without seed.
Ha.
My sentiments exactly, Queen Dr. Benny. Hey, it's just a joke. Women need the seed. So don't know why you take other things without it. Yes. Anyway, any comments or any questions about the seed? Very important. All right, Queen First Lady Dr. Benny. Know you always have something, you know, especially that lovely smiling greeting. Go ahead.
Well, I used to think that seedless fruits are delicious. Greetings! Greetings! Say, hey. Good evening. Good evening. Good morning, good afternoon to my queens and kings around the globe. I want to welcome each and everyone. I know I wasn't here when you guys started. Thank you so much, Queen Dr. Nadu. I appreciate this. I'm thanking her because she sent me something. So I want to thank King Dr. Derek for this opportunity. Yes, to voice out my opinion when it comes to seedless fruits, the danger, right? First, I want to take this moment to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing each and everyone this evening, morning, afternoon. It all depends upon your location. Just to let you all know, which I believe you already know, that without God, we are nothing. That's all I know. He created you and I in his image. So he told Queen JW, King Timothy, that they should say something about health. And people don't really understand. People should know that our health comes first. But we know God comes first. Yes, then our health. And we have to know the importance of eating, the type of food that we eat, we put into our system. Well, I used to think, by the way, astonishing mindset, Queen JW.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. So when it comes to this seedless, you talk about grapefruit, right? Man, you know that I bought it. King Timothy, I bought grapefruit, but it was seedless. So the way you are talking about this, it means that I have to stop. I don't have to, because it tastes so good, man. It tastes so good. It is. Oh, man. Anyway, so the importance of this, of understanding the danger of eating non-seeded food, it lies in you making your own informed decision or the choice about our health, about our nutrition, and what the sustainability, right? Why seedless food offers what convenience? Aha, convenient, right? But we are not smart enough like Queen JW because
Ah,
no, because you went and you asked, right? You say you wanted to buy watermelon. The first thing that you did was you asked them
of
if
course.
if there is no seed, then you will not buy it, right? Why do you think that I did not have that mindset? I just went and just bought the watermelon. Anyway, when I bought the watermelon, I bought it because I wanted to take it somewhere to some people so they
Oh,
can eat because when you go to the mechanic, those people are so hungry, right? So you
yeah.
buy something to give them. So I decided to buy apple. I
Oh,
bought watermelon. So, but when I bought the watermelon, they did not even have the knife to cut it. So I stopped buying it. Then what they want is soda. Some people, and I know you talk about Coke, they love Coke. Coke is very dark. But sorry, forgive me, but anyway, sorry. I do understand that seedless fruits are not, as you say, it's not really healthy. They have fewer vitamins. That is the reason why we're not supposed to be eating it. I fewer vitamins and minerals, right? And they also contain less fibers. What? Jesus. Yes, man. Oh, anyway, I know that King Timothy wants to talk, but I am going to give you the opportunity to talk. Thank you so much, Derek, for King Dr. Derek, for giving me the opportunity. Greetings to my brothers and sisters, my queens and kings around the globe. I love you guys. Yes, I do. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, First Lady Queen Dr. Benny. All right, go ahead, Queen Dr. Nadu, just for you.
All right, thank you very much. I want to thank our Queen Sister JW for the awareness. I was so happy to find a seedless watermelons because it's something that gave me hard time. When you cut the watermelon, you want to take the seeds out, it takes time. And when I figured out that they have seedless, I was so happy. I'm like, now somebody simplify my life. I just cut it and boom, it's there. And I learned that sometimes when you go to the supermarket and they cut the watermelon, they add sugar to make it look very bright red to attract you to
wow.
buy it. So I don't like to buy the one that is cut and put in the plastic.
No good.
So when we buy the whole thing, it doesn't matter the size. And we cut it, we leave it in the fridge for like a week. What I noticed is that the seedless one, when it stays 3 to 4 days, it change colors, it smell, and sometimes if you forgot and you take after 5 days, it's
No
like
good.
you add okra to it. And I'm like, no way. This, I don't think is helping me. So I went back to the seed one. That is not cheaper than the seedless one. because nobody want to buy the one with the seed. So it's cheaper than but it's the best one. Thank you for bringing that out. And I switch because it doesn't stay long, but I didn't know how it affect me inside. I didn't think about that just because it's not doing what I want. So I went back to my old roots. Thank you very much.
You're
This
welcome.
is what I want to share.
All right.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Dr. Nadu, just for you. I see your hand, Queen First Lady. Just give me a minute. I just want to let you know that banana is a fruit. Okay? And I think we eat the seed of the banana. I don't think we spit them out or we scrape them out and throw them away. I think we eat them. All right, beautiful. The answer, therefore, watermelon seed can eat. I just want to let you know. All right, watermelon seed can be eaten. Don't spit them out. Chew them up, swallow them. Good for you. Right? Just like cucumber or cucumber. Some people nice it up and say it. I think that is also a fruit, right? And I don't think anybody scrape out the seed and spit them out or those kind of things because seed can be eaten. All right. So just a fact. All right. Just want to let you know. So stop scraping out the melon seed. Eat it. All right. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Go ahead, First Lady Queen Dr. Benny.
First, I want to thank Queen Dr. Nadu. You make us to understand that if you go to the market and you see watermelon that is in there, that they have cut it, it is not a good idea for us to buy it. I really appreciate it. And Queen JW, thank you for bringing this topic because it's opening, I believe, my own eyes. I don't know about the rest. But just listening to what Queen Dr. Nadu just said, I will make sure if I want to buy the watermelon, it has to be whole. And again, I need to ask if it has seeds, right? And King Dr. Derek, I did not know that. I thought like you eating the seed of the watermelon is bitter. It's not bitter? Oh.
And you can grind it up. You can dry it out and grind it up also.
Oh.
All right, just swallow it like tablet. Don't worry about it. Just use the water that is in the melon and swallow it like tablet. Good to go. Your belly would be happy.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Thank you so much for the topic. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for King Dr. Derek. Thank you for giving me the time. I mean, sometimes we learn every day. I appreciate you all.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. All right. Any other comments or any other question or any other feedback? All right, wonderful. Okay, and so moving right along, at this time, we are definitely going to go into the next item on the program. And so we are moving right into the next person who is going to lavish us with some more health tips just for us. And so the topic is actually, he started it on Tuesday, right? The Health Quadrant, Part 2, by none other than our King Timothy Ferguson. Now, King Timothy Ferguson is a trusted leader, a mentor, and a personal development coach with extensive background in health and fitness. All right. And so he's a business and leadership development person. He's also into finance for over 2 decades. And so if you're having any little issues with your finances, this is the man to check. His information is also in the description on the varied YouTube channels. He's proven to be an excellent, very excellent teacher, right? So he loves to teach.
Yeah.
And he's an international motivational speaker, and he's a financial specialist. And so, without any further ado, which we're going to be zooming in on health and fitness this evening. And so, the health quadrant part two, none other than King Timothy Ferguson Jr. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Derek, for that opening. And again, as I say, it is an honor and it is a pleasure to be on here. It's great seeing everybody. Sister Jacqueline, that was a wonderful message.
Thank you.
I could say I said I would leave my comments for this time to speak in what you shared. I love watermelon, and I actually like watermelon with the seeds better than without the seeds. And with Queen Dr. Nadu, would you mention as far as the sliced watermelon having added sugar in it? That was something that was a surprise to me as well. Of course, I'm always about natural and the original of things, and so that's just now something to keep in mind that even when it comes to my kids wanting watermelon, I'm going rather than giving them one without the seeds because they asked for it, I'm going to make sure they continue to eat the watermelon with the seeds. Swallow them like you said, swallow them like a pill. um, anyway, going on to my topic, I want to do a quick um, touch on what we covered in the first part of the health quadrant. As I said to you before, I started. I had a word from God who challenged me and asking me, "What does it mean to be healthy?" And he said, before you just tell me what it is, I want you to go in the word and I want you to look it up. And he looked up and I looked up and I found the words in both Greek and Hebrew, hugiano and aruka, which both means to be well, wholesome, well in body. And when you talk about wholesome, it didn't say, it didn't mean to have muscles, to be in shape, it's just whole. And so the word whole is an objective term, which means that we can apply this to more than just our physical body. And the metaphor he gave me, he says, your physical body, within your physical body, I gave you two arms, two hands, two legs, and 2 feet. So when you go about your personal physical destination, say you're healthy, everything's good, and you trip and fall, what do? You just get right back up. We don't think anything of it. We're not frustrated. We're not like later on in the day, like I can't believe I failed today. I can't let that happen. It's in the past. But imagine now you being that very same person having a severed arm and a broken leg going about your destination and you trip and fall. This is going to be a very, very different scenario now. Now you're going to say, "Man, I can't, I hope I don't fall. I got to monitor my distance, making sure I got to be more careful with what I'm doing because if I do fall, it's going to be a situation that I fall in that is going to be really hard for me to get out." Well, he shared with me, he said, metaphorically speaking, our physical arms are a representation of our physical body and our finances, and our legs are a representation of our spirit and our soul. And so said to me, he said, "How many people are trying to fulfill my will with broken and missing limbs?" And being transparent, I said, "Well, I'll raise my hand on that." And so kind of going into an example of what these look like. What's the importance of having arms? Imagine, when you don't have arms, but you have legs. Well, that's great, but you need arms because if I'm in the room, I can walk around the room, but I can't open doors. I have to rely on other people to open doors for me. And that was never intended to be that way. But what if I have arms and I have no legs? Well, yeah, I can use my arms, I can do things, but I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck in this one little place that I'm in. And so, again, it was never intended for us to have one or the other. And so, what are the examples of this metaphor? Our arms are representation, as I said, our physical body and our finances, and our legs are representation of our spirit and our soul. So now, last on the last call, I did a deep dive on physical health, breaking down the concept of what a calorie is, how that relates to metabolism, explaining why we gain weight, how we lose weight, and ending on stress and stress management and how how to relieve stress by rhythmic breathing, or in this case, in the way the Lord has created things, worship, praise and worship, singing, and and so I'm gonna do just a little touch on the finance side. And the only reason why is because last Thursday I was on the call and I went deep dived into finances. And so what I shared in that message is pretty much a lion's share of what I would be sharing about finances today. And so I basically I'm going to give more time to talk about the legs of the quadrant, which is the spirit and the soul. But like I said, when it comes to the finances, I break down the foundations of what it means to be wealthy and being financially free. And starting with the mind, the terms that we use and how we see things. I ask a person, and you guys can do this at any time yourself. If you go to a person, ask them two questions: what does it mean to be rich versus what does it mean to be wealthy? They're going to give you two different answers. They're going to say, "Oh, well, being rich means having a whole lot of money. Being wealthy has a lot of money, but not being rich," or some type of subjective answer. And I answer that as saying there's no two meanings that mean the same exact thing. In fact, when we use the terms rich and wealthy, one is a figurative meaning and one is a literal meaning. Rich is about how you think, and wealth is what's in your pocket. And you may say, well, what do you mean, how do you think? Ever heard of a poverty mentality? Well, if there's a poverty mentality, there has to be one that contrasts that. And so, which we call that a rich mentality. And ever been in a place of having no money in your pocket, being broke? Well, the opposite of being broke is wealth, having more money than your pockets can hold. So, but what is really important that I want others to understand about this is that when it comes to these mindsets, we all have the natural common sense mindsets to obtain wealth and be rich. But it's because of the way we've been taught, the way that we've been raised, and the systems we're in, we've been, I'll say, brainwashed to view these matters out of order. And so, like I say, I asked people the question, if you're given $1 million, what would you do with it? And they'll say, oh, I'll pay my debts off, buy a home, take care of my mom, save the rest for taxes. Great, awesome, sounds wonderful. If I planted a large apple tree in your backyard that harvested apples every fall, would you chop it down and sell it for $1 million, or just harvest the apples every fall? And guys, nobody said to me, I'll chop down a tree and sell it for $1 million. Most people don't even answer the question. They'll say, what fool would chop down an apple tree if it's harvesting apples? And so I'll say to them with a little smirk, I said, the same fool that'll spend $1 million. And they're puzzled. Like, I don't get it. What do you mean by that? Because they don't understand that $1 million as a principal amount, interest, with the interest rate of return of 10% makes $100,000. Okay. So this is principal and interest. When you have money and you're able to invest it, it's going to generate income. That is the apple tree. And so when you realize, okay, now when I have money, rather than me using this on means that I'm going to spend it on, or it's going to disappear, I'm going to put it in a position where it's going to generate more for me. Just as Sister Jacqueline was mentioning, talking about a seed. Well, guess what? Money is a seed, and as it grows in compound. And so when many of us are in the position, not realizing it, are in positions to build that wealth with what we have. A lot of us think, well, if I just made more money, if I had a six-figure income, or if I just pay these debts down. And the problem with this type of mindset is a mindset relying on something in the future to change your future. And that's not God's order. God is a God of now, and anything He can do is in the now. And what you can do with your finances is, with what you already have, change the trajectory of your finances. But the matter is, again, this is not magic. It's not about, oh, this is a cool trick or anything like that. It's about looking at our money from the perspective that we look at other things with common sense. And so, as I mentioned before, in a call, I said, any one of you guys who has a family out here, and you decide to say we want to go on a road trip. Let's say I'm in Michigan. Let's say we'll use Dr. Derek for example. He's in New York, okay? And let's say that he wants to go to California. If I ask Dr. Derek the question, would you take your family and just get on the road and drive to California, or would you get a map or a GPS? Dr. Derek with a quick answer say, "I'll have a map or a GPS." Common sense. And I said, that's, perfect. I said, but here's the one caveat that I want to share with you. For most of us, when it comes to our finances, we all lack a financial GPS. We don't know where our money is going. We're so stuck in the now, in the tomorrow, in the next week that we don't know what next year, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years really looks like. We kind of, some of us are even afraid of it. It's like, I really don't want to know because I don't like the way it makes me feel. And you're only setting yourself up for failure now, because the worst things are going to happen if you're not actively properly preparing. So with a financial GPS is being created, this is now a tool that I use with clients I work with for free to get them to show them where they're at, where they're going in their finances, and that they're already going. This is where you're headed. You're going to be out of debt in 40 years. You're going to spend $500,000 in interest based on these matters. And then what we can do with the very means of which you have to pay your debts off in a fraction of the time, creating what we call a financial independence date. Whereas my debts are now paid off on November 23rd, 2026. And which means that after that, all that money, rather than just being small seeds that I'm setting aside, can all be used as seed to invest and grow. And of course, nothing that's going to be crazy, nothing that's going to be volatile, but something more than just a 0.25% interest rate sitting in the savings account. And you're able to then see this is what this money is going to look like in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years from now. Some of you might be saying, you know what? I don't even know if I'm going to be around 30 to 50 years from now. Totally understand that. Life is life. But guess what? Your money will. Do you have children? Do you have grandchildren? Yes. That means you have an estate. And what does the Bible say that we are to do, are to create? We're supposed to create an inheritance for our children's children. And this is the process of doing so. And so by learning just the little matters of seeing things from a perspective that, oh, wow, my mindset is my error, in adjusting my mindset to now seeing, okay, my money I'm making is principal, and then I now sow this by means of investment that's going to generate for me in the long term. I'm now going to make the same kind of common sense decisions I make with other things that I understand common sense, and therefore I eliminate the wealth problem that we have. Now, some of you guys might be saying, "Man, that sounds great. It sounds a little too easy." In this case, and yes, it does sound very easy. But let me put this into perspective to you to show you that it is exactly that, easy. Why? Because when we lay down the perspective of each one of us thinking about something that we're very good at, okay, something we're very good at. Dr. Benny is very good in in IT. And what she shares, she's been speaking on it on IT and giving many nuggets that's been very, very essential and helpful for us all. I can guarantee you, Dr. Benny is not getting on a call and sweating, saying, "I hope that this is going to work out right. I hope I'm going to say the right things." No, she's going to have her chest held high, and she's saying, I'm going to rip it today. I'm going to rip it today. And in this case here, and so as a result, there's a confidence that she has in knowing something. But just like she has a confidence in that area, there's something that Dr. Benny may not have confidence in. Whatever that case is what it is. She might not be the best cook. She might not be the best cleaner. Whatever that is. And whatever she's not good at, she's not walking with the same confidence, with the same chest up, and in the matter as she does when it comes to her profession. She's now has expectations that's in alignment with that matter of that not knowing how to do anything. And see, which is, and that's all of us. So, but now when we talk about money, guys, money is this gray area that we all work with, we all make, we use, we spend, we deal with, but we're all doing the wrong thing trying to get the right result. That's the problem. That's why it's so hard. That's why we have generations and generations of debt. My mother, my grandfather, same problem. I'm same problem. What are the things that we have in alignment with our generations? Our mindset, the way we think. I learned in doing the things that they were doing. So we're recycling error. And you have people out here who have the knowledge, who can share this information freely with people, but they don't want to. And to me, that's what I consider as wicked. And so, for many people, in the case and in the matter who need this, they have families, they're going into on a trajectory of we're going to retire one day. They hope to want to have things in order so that they can rest after working 30 years of their life. And so it's just unfair to now allow them to be in a position where they're retired and they still got to work a second job because Social Security, their 401k is not enough to keep them afloat. That's not fair. And so the key is rather than putting this in the hands of somebody else telling you what to do, you're learning this yourself and you know what to do. You now all you're utilizing in this case is a coach to help you. Okay. And what a coach is for is not for the means for you to feeling like, oh man, I'm not adequate to do this on my own. It's a bonus. It's a plus. Okay. I'm doing this on my own, but having a coach is a plus, especially if it's a coach that I have access to who can help me on matters for free. We can call it accountability partner, whatever you want to call it, but it's all going to be a benefit to what you're doing. It doesn't. It never means that I can't do this on my own. So I say this because I know a lot of males, get into the idea where they don't want help. They don't want accountability. I can do this on my own with the chest held high. And it's like you can do this on your own. But let me tell you this, guys. When it comes to health, I've been involved in health for 30 plus years. I've been involved with exercise, personal training. I work out. I know what to do. I know how to exercise and I know how to work out hard. But guess what? When I get a partner who comes in the gym with me, I work even harder. It's not that it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. I just work harder with the partner. It's just it is what it is. And so for me, it's like, I would love to have an accountability partner. I would love to have somebody on my side in this case because instead of being at 100%, I'm at 130% now. Win-win. And this is the way we want to think of this, how we want to think of things, especially when it comes to working together as joints intertwine. And what I mean by that is is getting into the next segment of the health quadrant. And I'm going to share my screen really quickly so that you can see. I'm sorry, one second. So I can share my screen. Say my sharing is not turned on. Um, oh, yeah, I might need you if you can allow me to share my screen, Dr. Derek. Um, there we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. Uh-oh, I don't need to show that. Oh no, hold on one second. Let me close this. I got this thing that pops up on my computer that I need to get off so that I can oops. One second, I'm sorry guys for this convenience here. Just need to close this. Uh there we go. All righty. All right, sorry about that. All right, so what I'm showing you guys here is the example of what is called the health quadrant, guys. This is the cover of the book that I wrote and I published in 2017, the health quadrant. I'm giving you more of a visual perspective of what the health quadrant represents. The P for physical, the F for finance, the I for identity, and the C for character. And so, you've heard me speak on the physical side already, and I just gave you a little rundown on the financial side. But I'm gonna do a deep dive today in the identity and the character part. And why am I doing them together? Because they're synonymous, and you'll understand what I mean by that in a minute. So when we talk about identity, I'm not going by Strength Finders, some books that are out there that you might read when people are talking about identifying people and personality traits and stuff like that. What I'm sharing with you guys comes directly from Romans 12. I'm not going to pull up the scripture right now for the sake of time, but if we all go to Romans 12, it talks about that we all operate with gifts, and multiple gifts intertwined. He made some of us as called prophets, teachers, exhorters, administrators, givers, compassionate servers, and what this is these are what we call the motivational gifts that we are all born with. And just to kind of give you an idea, I'll break it down again. When it comes to motivational gifts, there are 7 motivational gifts. Okay, 7 is the number of completion, by the way. And these are the perceiver, the prophet, which I call the perceiver, the teacher, the administrator, the exhorter, the server, the giver, and the compassionate. Okay. And as I mentioned before, we all operate through many joints intertwined. What does that mean? This means that the heart can never be the brain. The heart needs the brain and the brain needs the heart. They both serve different purposes. They're both essential in different ways. And so these are all gifts that are all essential in different ways. And we all have a measure of all of these gifts in us. But one of these gifts, to two of these gifts, make up our primary personality, determines why we do the things we do, see the things we see, and it's a signpost to our purpose and calling, what God made us for. And so I'm going to do a brief rundown of these motivational gifts, as far as the describing them. And what you're going to see is, as I describe these gifts, you're going to say, "Wow, that's I relate to that gift. That sounds a lot like me in a matter." And the way you're able to relate to the gift more so in the sense is in the sense is the idiosyncrasies that come with the gift. You know, if you're like, "Oh man, I'm 90% of those idiosyncrasies," yeah, that's a pretty strong gift. And I call it idiosyncrasy, not a flaw, because the idiosyncrasy gives room for other gifts, if that makes sense. All right. And the way I'm going to pair these gifts, as I mentioned again, the perceiver, teacher, exhorter, administrator, server, giver, and compassionate. I'm going to pair these gifts with another gift that contrasts one another. This gives you a better help of even understanding them more. And so, the perceiver, guys, is considered the eyes of the body. Okay. And the gift that contrasts that of the perceiver is what we call the exhorter. The exhorter is the mouth of the body. These are both individuals that are what we call speaking gifts. They like to talk, they like to speak, but they have different motives in the sense. A perceiver, this is the person who's a seer. One thing, this is typically an individual who's very black and white personality wise. What they're for, they're 100% for it. What they're not for, they're 100% against it. There's no gray area with them. They're ones that tends to call out things as they are. When it comes to what they see things. Sometimes they don't mince words, so they say things as they see it, and it might not be that nice, but it is what people need to hear. But often in an account, no matter what they see, they're 100% correct on. Okay, and this is very, very essential in that matter because we need gatekeepers. In a sense, in a business setting, in a job setting, these are individuals that are great in positions of like HR when it comes to hiring people, in that matter. And then you have exhorters. Exhorters are considered, like I said, the mouth of the body. This is the person who has the gift of gab when they speak. They know how to make dirt sound good because of the way they talk. Unlike the perceiver, who's black and white, exhorters, they see all colors. There is no gray area to the exhorter. As a result, this is the person, they can have a tendency to have a sense of humor. They know how to make people laugh. They know how to warm an audience. And these are the people that are really good to putting in front of people when you want to win audiences, whether it's at a church or at a business. And so you want to say, well, okay, well, what are some examples of how the perceiver and exhorter in difference in a settings, how they would operate? Okay. I use 2 examples of showing the strength of the perceiver and the idiosyncrasy of the perceiver and the exhorter as well. So I use the first example of a large room with a bunch of people in it. Everybody's talking, everybody's networking, shaking hands, and I'm the coach talking to 2 individuals, and individual A and individual B, and I say, okay, I want you both to get out here, and I want you to pass business cards and information out to everybody. okay, to let them know what we do. All right. Um, the person B, who's the exhorter, they're going to say, okay, they're going to have all their stuff ready, and they're going to go and they're going to see everybody. They're going to shake hands. Hey, how you doing? Meet. They're going to go smile, talk to everybody. Just get out there. Okay. Person A, they're going to take a quick minute and step into a corner of the room and just kind of survey the room and look around and say, okay, who should I talk to first? And as a result, basically, then they go and they make their runs on who they want to talk to. And when they talk to these people, they do a great job. They get numbers or they get information. And then when both of them come back to me when it's over, I say, okay, out of the 100 people, person B, who did you talk to? They said, oh man, I shook hands and passed cards out to 100 people. Person A, out of 100 people, who did you talk to? Oh, about 40. And we're kind of like, 40. Well, how come you didn't talk to all the other people out there? Uh, um, didn't really feel like I didn't feel like it would be a good fit for in talking to them. But hey, these 40 are all good, which is great. But because you did not talk to everybody in the room, you missed out on 60% of possibility. So you being in that position is a hurt to you. It's a hurt to us because 60% of the room basically is didn't get anything. And the perceiver might say, person A may say, well, man, okay, well, I guess this really isn't good for me. This is something where examples of this is something like sales, or spokesperson. These are the type of roles that exhorters thrive in. Being in front of a lot of people, talking to people. They have the ability to adjust with certain people. Whereas perceivers are, because of that, they're being more black and white. They may see some people that they just don't like. And there's like, I'm not going over to them because I don't like them. The exhorter is like, hey, he's all right. We'll work it out. And in this case here, for the purpose of business. Now, let's put person A and B into a different setting where we're talking about hiring person. I say to person A and person B, I say, listen, we're looking for somebody to be brought about on our team who meets A, B, C, D, E, F, and G qualifications. Okay. And what this means is you're going to sit down with them and they need to meet these qualifications. Person B is going to go into the room and sit down with the person. They're going to talk, and maybe a little bit of small talk or so, and he's asking them some questions. He might find out, oh man, yeah, I know this guy. They may have mutual friends. They may have went to school together, and they're talking and everything. And person B may say, you know what, man, I mean, you don't meet all of the qualifications, man, but I really like you, man, and I think that you will really be a great asset. Okay. And what did he do? He compromised the role. Okay. Person A, on the other hand, is going to say, same situation. This might be a person that they went to school with. They have a lot in common, and they got a great talk. And then at the end of it, person A says, it's really great talking to you, man, but I'm so sorry you do not meet the qualifications of what we need. It almost can give the other person who's being interviewed the false impression, like, man, I thought I was in because you liked me. But perceivers do not go past that gray area of, if you're not qualified, you're not qualified. If you are, you are, and that's it. And so each of them are essential, but in different roles. Okay. And so some of you might say, I know somebody like that. Or you might say, yeah, I can relate to that in this matter here. If you say that's not me, fine. You're going to relate to someone. The next two gifts I like to associate or talk combine together are what we call the administrator and the server. Okay. These are both gifts, roles that involve doing work, working with people, working with something. Okay. But where they contrast is administrators prefer to delegate roles, where servers prefer to do the role. Ever had a person, who goes and asks you to do something, and then you do it, and they go right behind you and they redo it over again, and you're like, hey, because it's got to be done a certain way. Well, you're dealing with the server. Servers are ones that, when it comes to what they do, they have a specific way in how they do it. They're very neat. They're very clean and oriented. They can't stand clutter. This is the person where they're wiping their shoulders if it's a little bit on them, but they're very succinct when it comes to the order of how they do things. And if they tell you to do something for them, say it's clean up the mop the floor. So if it's not done the way they want it to be done, they're gonna go back behind you and make it make sure it's done correctly. In one sense, that's say, hey, that's great workmanship. In another sense, we can call that counterproductive. Okay, because now rather than doing what else he could be doing at that time that is essential, he's doing your job for you over again. He spent another 35 minutes or so, whatever that case is. The administrator, on the other hand, likes taking on jobs, but rather than taking on jobs and doing the work itself, they like to delegate the work. This is the person where if you go into a job setting and you look at their desk, it's always cluttered. Everything's all over the place. Or if you go around, things are just always cluttered. I didn't say dirty. It's the difference between being cluttered and being dirty. Cluttered, where you might walk around and you're like, man, how do you know where everything is at? Or you might do yourself the favor, let me go around, let me see if I can organize this. And you organize their desk and they come back to their desk, you're like, what did you just do? They're like freaking out on you, and you're like, oh yeah, I saw it was a mess and I just wanted to organize it. And they're like, what do you do? I don't know where everything is. It was organized. And you're like, how? Because your way of organized and what they are is different. And see, administrators, they have the gift of what we call a high threshold for chaos. So when you see a cluttered room or a cluttered desk and you see that it doesn't bother them, is because they have that calling that when most people in chaotic moments, frontal lobe shut down, they can't think straight, we don't know what to do. Administrators have that threshold to keep cool, keep their calm, and say, okay, guys, this is what we need to do. And this is where they delegate. We need you to do A. I need you to do B. I need you to go with C. I need you to do this. And they get everything in order. Okay? It's a gift. And so, so usually when it comes to the role of the servant administrator, usually the two don't prefer to do one another's gifts. Administrators, like I said, they don't prefer to do the work hands-on. They prefer to delegate. And servers prefer to do the work hands-on. And so when the two are paired, they make a great team because you have two individuals working hard, great at what they do, but neither of them are coming in between one another. They're not hitting heads. So it's amazing when you have the two of them, paired and working together. Unlike when it comes to like speaking or so, administrators, are good when it comes to organization, when it comes to like I said, delegating, putting things together. They're great at these matters here. We all know people like that, where you ask them something and they're just like, oh yeah, you just give it to them and they just know how to just take something and just turn it into a masterpiece. That's a gift that we have, that some have and some don't have. And guys, let me just be transparent. I'm not an administrator. I don't have that gift. Okay. When it comes, I want to move on to the other two gifts we talk about, is the teacher and the compassionate gift. Okay. As I said, the perceiver, the eyes of the body, the exhorter is the mouth of the body, the administrator are the shoulders of the body, and the server the hands of the body. The teacher is the brain of the body, and the compassionate are the heart of the body. Now, remember, both, as I mentioned earlier, the brain and the heart are both very essential, but for very different reasons. Now, in this case, the objective of the teacher is one who basically is a thinker. This is a person who's a thinker. They're very objective in the way that they think. They're really good at taking things that may be abstract and relating it to things that people understand and showing them the same to help them explain things. We call this renewing people's minds. Teachers are ones, they have a select circle of friends, typically those that that share a common ground with, versus an exhorter who basically will talk to anybody. And usually the whatever they're into, that they get into, they love it, and because they love it, they develop a large level of knowledge about it. They're into learning the things that most other people really just don't even care about into that matter. And so when they are investing their time into vested matters that are essential to people, that help people, they're amazing at what they do. But also, hey, if it's things that are not even that much beneficial, they're still great at what they know. And so And then you have what you call the compassionate. The compassion, this is the heart of the body. This is the individual who basically, unlike the teacher, rather than thinking, they're the filler. Okay. This is the person you might know, or you might see them sitting on the bench crying, and you say, "Hey, what's wrong?" And they're like, "Oh, my dog died," or my cousin's dog died. And you're like, I'm sorry to hear that, but why does it have you on the bench crying? Or there might be some type of emotional matter that they're dealing with, but it's not direct to them personally. And you're like, well, it almost kind of makes me feel like I'm, careless or so. But wow, and but it again, it's a calling and it's a purpose. This is the person who goes out for the needs of others. They're the ones who create programs for the needs of others, whether it's these programs, rights programs, whether it's for animals or whether it's for women or for anyone that they feel are not being taken care of properly. They're out on the bat trying to help them. Okay. And as a result, when it comes to how they friendship, when it comes to how they have relationships, they also have select circle of friends, but those basically that they can relate to in terms of their cares. Now, one thing, so what I want to give really quickly before I move on to the next segment is understanding how all of these gifts work together in one setting. Okay, how would you put all these gifts in one setting in terms of working through many joints intertwined, creating a process? For you guys right now, I'm pretty sure you might be saying to yourself, you know what? Based on what he shared, King Timothy sounds like a teacher. Yes, that is a very strong motivation for myself. And I also have a strong exhortation motivation, which is where the speaking and things come from as well. But for some who are here who relate to a teacher, we know people who are going through challenges, going through things, hardships, and we want to help them. And when we help them, we talk to them, and it seems like what we're saying is just bouncing off their head. And we can either take it personally, like maybe it's me, they don't want to listen to me, or something's wrong with them. But in all reality, the truth is neither of those. It's the matter is that the order things are out of order. This person is coming to me out of order. Okay, and what's necessary is getting things in proper order for things to work right. And when I mean out of order, I mean think of anything that you're supposed to do that incorporates order. Who goes into a shower without getting undressed and getting their clothes ready? If you understand what I mean. Who cooks? Who seasons their food after they take the food out of the oven? Okay, there's order to things, and wherever there's order, there's always going to be fulfillment. What we experience, because there's so much disorder and disarray and we don't know it, we've kind of accepted this as it's just life. But when we implement these orders in the way that they're intended to be, you're going to see results hands down consistently. So I'm going to use an example of personal needs. How many of us have talked to a person or have seen a person who's hurting and they're frustrated and they need help, and you're sharing with them, you want to help them, and it doesn't seem like what you're saying to them doesn't work? Well, really, at that time, any person who's in need at that time, they need somebody who's going to be a listener to them. For those who like to talk and want to share, we have to take the step back, because it's not what they need. We got to think about what they need more than what we want to give them. And at this time, when we understand the gifts, we're able to then ascertain and say, hey, I know who can help you in this time here. So let's say, the person is in a situation where they're hurting, and you introduce them to a person who has a strong gift of compassion. That person with a strong gift of compassion is going to sit with them. They're going to listen to them, hear them out. They're going to say, I understand. They'll cry on their shoulder with them. They'll hold their hand. They'll pray with them. All of these things that the person is needing at that time. And then once the person's need is met, guess what? They're going to say, I just don't know what to do. You know what the compassionate person is going to say? I don't know either. And so, but rather than the compassionate person saying that because they understand the order and the gift of things, they can say, you know what? I know exactly who you need to talk to. And who they're going to then introduce that person to is the teacher. Now, this person is primed to learning something. This person is primed to get a mind renewal in regards to whatever they're dealing with. They're hearing it and they're like, man, I never thought about it like that. oh my gosh, man, you just showed me something. It was just breakthrough. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Now, how do I get started? How do I apply this? That's where the teacher ends. The teacher's usually going to say, I don't know. Or he can say, I got somebody who I want you to talk to who can be very helpful for you. He's going to introduce you to the exhorter. The exhorter, this is the person who thrives on practicality. And so anything they do, they're doing it by giving you practical steps of advice. Ever go to a seminar when you talk to a person and they have everything step by step by step by step? That's an exhorter you're talking to. And so this person talks to the exhorter, he's gonna tell them, okay, this is what you need to do. The first thing you need to do when you get up in the morning is A, B, and C. And then you need to do E, F, and G, all the way down until the end of the day. And they're like, okay, thank you so much. Now I have I have a game plan. Now I got a couple of questions though. So because I know that life is life, how do I know when to do this and when not to do it? The exhorter, because they're very practical, they're going to usually say, just do it and find out. Or because they understand the gifts, they're going to say, you know what? I know somebody who I want you to talk to who can help you with that. The exhorter is going to introduce you to the perceiver. This is the seer. Remember what I said? So now when you're going to the perceiver, you're showing these are all the things that I'm doing to try to get out of my situation. The perceiver is going to look at this and say, okay, I see what you're doing. Now here's the thing: for A, B, and C, these things are not necessary. You don't want to do that. You don't need to do that. You want to do that when dealing with these matters here or with these matters here. And in this case here, okay. Given the direction, I'm sorry, one quick second. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Um, and so basically, now this person that says, I've gone through a process talking to 4 people where I started not knowing what to do, lost. Now I have a game plan and direction on what to do. And guess what? When you do it, you're going to get it. Now you might be asking yourself the question, man, that's a really good system, but where does the administrator, the giver, and the server fit in this? Well, when we have a program, we need someone to manage the program, right? That's where the administrator falls in. With this program, we need someone in association that's helping the administrator with these programs. That's where the server comes in. And guess what? We need somebody to fund the program. Okay, and so so the last gift that I would talk about, and this is the only gift that does not have a contrasting gift because God did not create anybody to not be givers, and that is the gift of being a giver. And so this is the individual who's who's very frugal when it comes to money. This is the person who knows how to find the best of what they're looking for at a discount. We all can say, you know what, I'm gonna find things for cheaper, and I might find a different brand, a cheaper brand, spend in a couple of weeks. The giver will go an extra month, and they can find the top quality for a deal. How did you do that? That's just their thing. They know how to, they're very frugal. They know how to manage money. They're really good with money, and they're called to intercede for those that are in need. And so when it comes to finances, managing finances, and in this case, they're the ones that are the best assets in doing that. They know how to find resources for the best without compromising quality. They know how to utilize all the different loopholes when it comes to retaining income, especially when we're talking about taxes and stuff like that. Very, very essential. And we all know people like this. And there may be people on this call and listening right now that says, man, I relate to that in this case here. And so, as a result, this gives each and every one of us a matter of looking in the mirror and seeing something essential to ourselves. I talk to church circles all the time, and I said, in church circles, everybody wants to either be the pastor or the prophet. They look down on all the other roles, and it's just like, guys, every role is essential. And when you see that you have an essential role for whatever capacity that is, that actually gives you more of purpose in being where you're at, and more commitment of where you're at. The last thing that I'm going to talk about, guys, is the C, and that's what we call character. Okay. Character is just to say, well, character and identity are kind of like how people view finances with rich and being wealthy. They kind of use them one and the same. But I want to make this very clear. Your identity is who you are. Your character is how you think. Okay? Your character has influence over your identity or your personality. Okay? You can be, a great, you're being great at teaching, but, you have poor ethics. You always have a nasty attitude. You're not good when it comes to, integrity. These have nothing to do with your personality. These have everything to do with character. And so, in my book, I break down character into 4 parts: courage, ethics, attitude, and integrity. And these are things that we all have to look in the mirror and give ourselves a true, look at ourselves. Where do I stand in these areas? Not to feel bad, not to condemn ourselves, but just a true assessment for improvement. I have some issues. I know I have some issues with my attitude. And I recognize that my issues with my attitude hurts my essential value to whatever involvement that I'm associated with. I need some help in that area here, in that place here. And again, you need looking for the help and needing the help, you're gonna get the help. Okay, some might deal with integrity as an issue, and it's saying, this is an area that I can see that can have an impact or hurt to my essential purposes. I need help in this area. And then ethics, this is the person where it's just like, man, I just can't get out of bed. I want this. My goal is to have A, B, and C, but I just don't know how to get there. And quite frankly, I just don't want to do anything to get there. And so, but you need education on the ethics, learning these are the things, this is what you need to do. Proverbs is a very great book on these matters and on developing these matters, talking about wisdom and ethics and integrity, all of these things in association in these associations. So what am I saying, guys? You can be it doesn't matter what gift you have. You can be wealthy or you can not be wealthy. You can be in good physical health or you can be in poor physical health. You can have good character or you can have poor character. These are all the only thing that's associated that was associated to you, that God created in you and formed in you, is who you are. Everything else isn't associated to what you do with who you are. And so it is very, very essential in learning and understanding all of these things, because this is what creates the completion for us to be able to fulfill what it is that God wills us to fulfill. And when we recognize these matters as essential needs, we're not trying to wing it. Oh, I don't need that. I can get away with this, But these are all essential needs. We see it that, okay, let me develop and get better to get stronger in this, in this matter here. Like I said, guys, there are tons of people that can say, "Oh man, I didn't need any of that stuff, man, and I was very, very successful." Great, you're going to have success out there. But you've heard me say this more than one time: a broke clock is right twice a day. Okay. And so do you want to operate doing things based on the probability of a broken clock? Or do you want to operate on the credibility that when you do something and what you do, this is what you're going to get in this matter? I don't know anybody who says I prefer probability. And so if that is the case, this is something that you really want to grab hold and get a true develop an understanding on. And with you having this understanding of these matters within yourself, like I said, it makes you an even greater asset to your community, to your household, and being an influence to them that helps build them up, which is what we are all called to do. Guys, I want to say thank you for your time for this. I'm just going to unshare my screen here. Again, it is a pleasure. I know it's a lot of information. My information, Dr. Derek has information on my book where you can find it at, if you're interested in looking into it. He also has information on where you can contact me at, where we can speak directly for say 10-15 minutes, and we can go over whatever needs that you have in whatever way that, and I can see whatever I can do to be able to assist and help you. Again, thank you all for your time. It's wonderful. It's a pleasure, and look forward to seeing you guys soon again.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, King Timothy Ferguson Jr. Really appreciate, really appreciate. Thank you very much. That was an awesome presentation. I thank you. And yes, his contact information is actually in the description on the varied YouTube channels. And I think I put it on the flyer also, if I am not mistaken. So if you actually look on the flyer, I think his information is there. All right. So, but it's definitely in the description on the varied YouTube channels. So you'll be able to contact him whether by phone call. The phone number is there. His business phone number, his website, and his email is there in the description. So when you go to the description, just scroll down a little, and you will see it. All right. So that was an awesome presentation. Thank you very much, King Tim. Really, really appreciate. All right. So is there any comments or any questions that you might have right now, live and direct? Anyone? And let me just double check uh, the chat room. All right, just a lot of praises and big up, as we might call it. All right, thank you very much, King Tim. I know that First Lady Queen Dr. Benny most definitely, no doubt, have something to say. Go ahead, Queen Dr. Benny.
Oh my goodness. King Timothy. I think, well, you know a lot, right? You know a lot. First, I want to appreciate you coming here to educate us. It's, we appreciate you, right? Queen Joanne, we do appreciate him so much. You make us to understand that, you know, like when you are exercising, you exercise harder. Well, but when a partner comes, I think it seems as like you want to show that you can exercise more and more and more, right? So that person, anyway, you're trying to make that particular partner, or let's say if I came and you were exercising, sometimes, I don't know, there is something that you have to exercise by holding. I've forgotten that the name of that stuff, but you will hold it. But if I'm there now, you try to prove that you know how to do it harder, right? Much better than the way. And then you say something about rich and wealthy, and to make us understand that if you are rich, a rich individual may have a high income and significant asset, but they might also face high debt level, right? If you are rich. But a wealthy person or a wealthy individual, on the other hand, focus on long-term financial security and sustainability. So are you saying like, somebody just won that big dollars, right? That when you win, you did not know that you were going to win, right? Then you use it so fast because you didn't work for it. You did not work for it. So, but let's say if I'm looking for a job, I will do what it takes to try to manage my money. But people, like how some people steal. When they steal, they'll make sure they eat so fast, right? It was not their money. That's why they go and eat fast. Am I right? I hope I'm trying to explain it correctly. I hope.
No, you're onto it. And just to clarify again, I want to say with that metaphor of the rich versus wealthy, I want to say is that one is figurative, one is literal. But I want to say that the rich view money as leverage to make more money in this case, whereas a poverty mentality views money as leverage to buy things. And so You can have you can be wealthy, which is what's in your pocket, with the poverty mentality. That's why you're going to use the money and blow it, or you can be rich with wealth, whereas you now basically you see this as leverage to generate even more. This is where I'm seeing that, wow, I have this money with a 9% rate of return. This is going to multiply over the next 30 years. Okay. I'm looking at it as, like the apple tree. And so, whether it's whether you're obtaining wealth through a job, through a business, it doesn't matter. The objective is, and I want to hit Sister Jacqueline on this, is you're sowing a seed. You're paying yourself something that is that is growing over time. And but again, it's understanding that perspective of having a mindset that what I have as principle, if I use this, if I plant this, it's going to grow, versus, oh, I have now enough money to buy an iPhone or something else out here that's spending that spends all our money that I'm not going to ever see any benefit of it on. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with getting these things, but it's going back to the apple tree. Do I want to chop down the tree or the branches, or do I just want to harvest the apples and sell it? And then what I mean by that is I can buy my iPhone, I can buy all the things I want with the interest that I'm generating and never touch the principal. And so when we are able to create that, it's ongoing, and so that's the thing we want to recognize and understand, and we ask ourselves the question, do I have a poverty mentality or do I relate to a rich mentality? And if you have a poverty mentality, hey, be reflective and say, okay, well, this is what I need to do and change so that I can get out of this, unless you want to maintain a poverty mentality. And again, I don't know anybody who says I want to be in a position of struggling or hardship. If that were the case, the lottery would not exist, or in any of these other matters would not exist. And so, it's principles like this that is what changes the trajectory of where you're going. So, whereas I'm not doing something and my life is now based on what I just did that did this. It's no, my life is changing because of the way that I think. And that is what's most essential. And so if you're starting with nothing and getting there, or if you're starting with a little bit of something and getting there, the point is that you're growing and getting there.
Thank you so much. I mean, by you doing this or bringing this topic, I urge all my should I say my brand ambassadors or affiliate. Remember, the time is coming that all of us will start making some dollars. So I believe you guys will contact King Timothy so that he can just like teach you guys how to save your dollars. Because I know that a lot of people don't know how to manage their money. I know I can manage mine, but I know a lot of people here cannot manage. So time is coming. You guys will come back to King Timothy and he will educate us more and more how to save dollars. Thank you so much, King Timothy. I appreciate you. And hopefully we'll see you again.
Oh, I'm here.
King Dr.
All
Derek.
right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Really appreciate. Over to you, Queen Dr. Tunishai Ford.
Thank you. Thank you. Excellent presentation, Tim. I've had the privilege of hearing the presentation before, and every time I hear it, I'm just so impressed. Like you said, very, very knowledgeable, and the seven different personalities. I believe that I'm an exhorter and I'm also an administrator, just based on the characteristics of those personality traits that you gave, Tim. But what I wanted to say to even for Jackie, excellent presentation. Thank you so much. I mean, you always come with so much knowledge about health and wellness and food. And like I said about this platform, and I really thank God for Dr. Derek, because this is what you call we get a well balanced meal. Is that right, everyone? We get a well balanced meal. So we talk about everything from relationships all the way to finances. So I thank God for that. I thank God. And also, too, Dr. Benny, let me just say this to you. I heard what you said about you can manage your finances, but you still should see Timothy, because I'm pretty sure, and this is not an insult, so please don't take this with offense, because that's not my heart. You've been knowing me for a while. I'm pretty sure he is very knowledgeable about this. I am pretty sure there's an area that Timothy can help you in. There's probably an area that you may have missed, or maybe you're on point with everything, Dr. Benny, but he could probably show you how to even advance it even more. So I would advise everyone, and you don't have to wait until you get dollars to talk to Tim. Remember, he does that financial analysis, and that's absolutely free. When you start getting the money, you don't want to wait till you can start getting money and start planning. You want to start planning now before you get the money, so when it comes, you'll know where to put it and how to delegate that. So that's why you want to start seeing Tim now. All right. So I just wanted to give you that little tidbit and everything. So thank you, Tim. Thank you, Queen Jackie. I really do appreciate you all. And Dr. Derek, thank you for this magnificent platform. We get a well balanced meal. It's all because of you. Thank you so much.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Dr. Tunishai Ford. Really appreciate. Um, Over to you, Queen Jacqueline Warner.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Queen Dr. T. Appreciate you all always, and thank you also, King Tim Ferguson Jr. for that amazing financial GPS that we all need. No matter if we think we got it together, I know I don't have it together, and I sure need your services. But I thank you for educating us and giving us from your heart, the knowledge that you have gained throughout decades. It's just not yesterday or today, so you're able to share it and you're willing to. So thank you for your willing heart. Thank you for trusting the Lord and guiding you in this area of your life. And we just so much appreciate you. And like Dr. T said, we don't have to wait till we get dollars. We really need, since we have him right here at our fingertips, someone that is willing to share his knowledge and even help us along the way with our finances so we could get out of that poverty mentality and learn how to leave the legacy like Dr. Derek spoke about, and Tim came back and said it again, that a man leaves an inheritance for his children. And that's what we need to do. Our children can't do it alone. And we really need to leave something behind for them to lessen the struggle, lessen the walk, the journey through life. So thank you again, Mr. Tim. We appreciate you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right, wonderful. Thank you very much. Over to you, King Tim.
Yes, thank you. Yes, and so like I said, my what I'm doing here is I consider it's holistic. Because we need all of these things, and I've been blessed to learn these things from millionaires. And this is not just reading books, but I have had coaches and mentors that God has blessed me with that has allowed me to fulfill and do what my heart desires, which is help people where they're at. I'll say this again. When we talk about the financial matter, it's something that a lot of people get a little skeptical on. When we talk about investments, people really start to get skeptical on because of all of what they hear about it. Like, oh, people lose money or there's fraud and all of these things are a case in this matter. And I'm fully aware of those things. And so, I want to say this to all, and in the case, if in having in consideration and wanting to sit down and talk with me, that when it comes to working with anyone we work with, I want you to understand that I follow a principle that Dr. Benny has used in her presentations called KYC, Know Your Customer. Okay, so when it comes to what we do, the FNA that we prepare is so that we can know you. I get to know your circumstance. I see your finances. Your age, what you're looking to say, okay, this is what you want to do. This is what you need to do for what you have. I'm not allowed to have you do something that is not going to be in your best interest. Okay. Now, some people say they want to do something on their own, so be it. But my job in this case, because of my role and in the relationships that I establish with my clients, is establishing a place of trust and that when working with me and what we're doing, you're in great hands. And so there's nothing to be afraid of. You know, everything is financial. I do financial literacy. I tell people all the time, the worst case scenario you get with me, if I can't help you in any matter, is a financial education. But and other than in any other case and matters from there, you know, you're not going to be positioned or put in any place that you're not comfortable with, that you don't understand or don't know or not ready for. Because it is a process. There's no such thing. I think Sister Jacqueline said it earlier. There's no such thing as get rich quick. You know, there's no such thing as get this instant gratification mindset that so many of us ponder on is the error, and we have to understand that with seed time and harvest takes time. And what we have to also understand is that time is something that, like as I mentioned in my time management message, is something once lost we can't get back. So we don't want to just waste it, in an account by just pondering or so, in a matter. And so, like I said again, I'm here for you guys. Any questions you have, I'm here for you guys. You have my information. Give me a call, shoot me a text. Listen, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Okay, I tell people this all the time because people say, "Well, man, I don't want to ask that because I think it's a dumb question." When it comes to your life, when it comes to the foundations of your life and your future, there's no such thing as asking a dumb question. Okay, so if you have a question on something, write it down. The reason why I say write it down because you might get to me and you say, "You know what? I forgot what I was about to ask you." Write it down. I love questions. Okay, I thrive on questions, and so as a result, this is what we do, and this is what creates the transformation. We're not working on just changing your finance. It's a transformation in you, transformation how you think. So now you're a different person, and what you can be. That's going to be the best benefit to me is an influence to others as a result of what I'm doing and what my team does for you, and therefore helping other people, which is the layout that Jesus created for his disciples and for all of us to follow, being examples of the word to others and leading by. And so all I can say, guys, is with all of this, it's a win-win. You know, I'll close with this. I say, when I talk to a lot of people, I spend my time talking to a lot of people, and when I talk to people, I divide. Everybody I talk to I find that divide into three categories. You know, when we talk to these about these matters, they're either a person where they know they need to get their stuff together and they just hadn't gotten to it yet. They're a person where you know, my money's just not right and I don't know if I can get it, or they're a person where they just don't care. And 99% of the people I talk to, I automatically eliminate number three as whereas they don't care because they have families, they do care. You can see the hurt on their face of what's going on. They need help. And so my objective from there is, hey, if I can help you in whatever circumstance you're in, from what it is that doesn't cost you, that doesn't hurt you, would there be any, would that be a conflict? And if that's not a conflict, well then, hey, let's get started. And and basically, and that's basically where we go, and that's how we go from there. And so it's a blessing for what I do. I love it. And it's the greatest thing that I can give is giving this to my children. I wish I knew this 20 years ago, but hey, it's what it is. And we can all say we wish we knew this, but if you have offspring, if you have grandchildren, now you have something you can pour into them, not just what you have, but you can also pour knowledge into them that changes the trajectory of their lives where they can become millionaires. So thank you again for your time.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, King Tim. Really appreciate. Any other comments or let me look if any. All right. Okay. So at this time, we will just ask Queen Jacqueline Warner to give her closing statements.
Yes, thank you again so much for allowing me to be part of this amazing platform. Thank you to the brand ambassadors / affiliates, and also to all the presenters, and all the leaders. Thank you so much. Yes, seeds are the carriers of life. So when we eat the fruit with its seed, we are partaking in the wholeness of creation. So when we choose seedless, we accept a shortcut that may cost us our health and vitality in the long run. Biblical reference, and God said, let the earth bring forth the grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so. And you find that in Genesis chapter 1, verse 11. So, people, family, friends, leaders, let's make sure when we buy our fruits that there's seeds in it. And if you're not sure if seeds are in it, ask. Usually they are labeled seed or seedless for those stores that care. But if not, you have to shop at you look for the right resources that deliver the right fruits with seeds. Always ask the question, is it seed or seedless? Thank you again, and have a beautiful evening.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner. Really appreciate. And at this time, we're just going to ask King Timothy Ferguson Jr. To give his closing statements.
I thought he did.
Well, yeah, actually, that was my closing statement. So,
yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the wonderful presentations today. We really, really do appreciate. And so enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend. I sure going to enjoy mine. Most definitely. Stop the smiling, First Lady Queen Dr. Benny. You're getting a little more excited than usual. But anyway, I'm going to enjoy my weekend. So enjoy yours. Remember, on Sunday, we meet again with Dream Team, with Dream with Dr. P. And of course, if you want to know a little bit of faith over finances, well, bring everyone to Sunday's presentation, where our own King Timothy Ferguson Jr. will be presenting faith over finances. So let us invite everyone to actually the last Dream Team meeting for this month. The last Dream Team meeting for this month. No, not forever, but for this month. Because a lot of bells will be ringing for the other 2 weeks. There's so many. I think actually next week is Queen Dr. P relative, something like that. So it's a lot of things going on for these 2 weeks coming up. So there will be no Dream Team meeting after this Sunday. Well, next Sunday. Sorry, the Sunday of the 14th that is coming up next week. All right. So that will be the next meeting, Dream Team meeting, will be the last for the month, because a lot of weddings. September, remember. All right. Yes. And Queen Dr. Benny getting our jig on for all of that experience. Anyway, so with all these weddings going on, there'll be no Dream Team meeting webinar after the next one coming up. So meet with everyone, invite everyone, as I said, to come and listen to Faith Over Finances with King Timothy Ferguson Jr. And of course, in the morrow, we do have the Yvonne duo, which is Queen Dr. Yvonne and Queen Yvonne Finn, that every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So, the Dream Team meeting is at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So catch you. And then next week we'll do it all over again with Mindset Monday. The Yvonne Duo every weekday, and Tuesday and Thursday deep dive, and Thursday morning oh passion, etc. So come and join, come and attend and participate, and let us have a Catawampus time. Thank you all very much. Those on YouTube, really appreciate, really appreciate. Have a wonderful weekend. And of course, for those who are here on this platform, Zoom platform, please to stay tuned for Queen Dr. Nadu and the after party. All right, take care, YouTubers, YouTube channels. Thank you for being a part of Deep Dive, globally changing lives.